Hello, I'm talking without it being muted. With the beep.
Yeah.
Like, So, how'd you like the open house class?
That was really good. That was, and I'm not a huge, like, that's not my preferred lead gen, but I'm like able to get not just, I ran out of room for actions, like do's, but just like, I mean, so many great things. Some of my favorite ones were, go back in the multiple pages of notes. But I really loved the, well, first I have to buy signs.
I need signs.
The branded book that to leave for both the buyer and for the seller. And then just the general frames of information, like the marketing kind of pieces. Like I love to actually, like the generic ones, like just the lending, need help with lending, ask, that kind of stuff. But also like when I bought this house, she went around and put a bunch of like, this furnace is new, purchased in 20, like it just kind of like little selling points. So you didn't have to have like an agent walking around. And then the little mini clipboard survey. I thought that was great to get feedback for the house because I feel like people would be more inclined to participate with that. And then there's so many good things.
That's what mine looks like. Like you circle, and that was in command. You
awesome, yeah.
What you like, right? And then there is a spot on there that says, are you working with the agent? And they circle yes or no.
I love that one. I'll have to look for that. And then your SPAR, the magnetic open house cards and stuff like that. What else was there? The QR code for the equity.
Okay, so I have a question. And Amy wasn't on, so we can bring you up to speed, Amy. So Melissa Lombard did an open house class today from 1 to 2:30. And I didn't get this part, so you need to explain it to me. What was she talking about, the branded books? Like what is that?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, like what was that? And then Tasha said you can do it for your buyer as well or something, or what?
I think what I had, it was like all of the like interesting information about the house, the neighborhood, like the market, so that it sounded like I couldn't see it online, but I'm assuming it was like a nicely bound piece so that it's kind of a nice little takeaway, like this is all the cool stuff about my house. And you can give a separate version for like the seller, like they may want to remember their their neighborhood and their first house.
That's that makes sense.
I've also seen
ask like if it's like the binder.
Yeah, it was like a so either a spiral bound one, like the little tiny spirals, or the one where it's like glue and you heat it up on the thing, not the actual book, but like there's a cheaper one where it's just like clear front and then like a paper back, cardboard back, and you heat it up that way too. But it's kind of like, when you go into those listings and it's like all their marketing stuff and they have them like kind of fanned out. It's like give one of those to both the seller to keep, right? Because it's their house. And then give one to the buyer that may have liked it, or you can email it to the buyer because you're making it specific for that listing, even though it's not your listing, right? If you're doing it for somebody else, like you take that and then market it that way. That's what I was getting from it. But again, I could have been wrong. Tom, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I've also seen it done where they've made a book with like the pertinent information, like here's all the collection of like the warranty information for the mechanicals. Here's information for contacting like Centerpoint or whoever their utilities and stuff are through. Basically just a big how-to book for the property. Right.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. There was my notes, the thing that I wrote down too that Melissa liked too. Melissa Johnson said that she loved it is instead of calling it a CMA, call it an equity analysis. And she said do a QR code on a flyer and say, if you download this, I can get your information and then I can send you an equity analysis. And of course, we don't want to send the equity analysis in quotes CMA until we have been there, right? Like, don't just email it out and be like, here you go, right? Because you're just giving away all your value then. But yeah, what else did you guys talk about that you or hear that you liked or something new?
So backtracking here real quick, I've also
Yeah.
seen it done from other agents where they do, yeah, here, I will email you, the basic one. But if you'd like a more in-depth analysis, please contact me at, 123 ABC, and we'll set up an appointment.
Right.
So it's a very rudimentary that, oh, I looked at MLS for 5 minutes and the other house is a quarter mile away from you, all sold for this. And based on that, I think it'll sell for this.
Right. Yeah.
Something that, any idiot with a Zillow account could do. But if you want the actual, information, let's talk, let's set up an appointment.
Right. Right.
So you tease them in with the bait and then you catch them.
Right. And, one of the things I never heard this one before was when they leave, and they're doing like doing the open houses. This is more if it was like you were listing, right? They leave and, they leave for the weekend or they leave for the day. Have a Papa Murphy's take and bake pizza, have it in the fridge and leave a little note that you left it there. And then like if you baked cookies to make it smell good, like don't eat them all yourself, like leave them for them too, right? But like if they have kids or if they, they got a lot of stuff going on, that's amazing. Like that kind of stuff they're not going to forget, So I thought those were.
Well, and speaking of kids, I liked the information she talked about leveraging the kids for the open house. If somebody comes in with their kids, hey, I have a scavenger hunt, can you find the, 5 stickers that I have hidden around here?
Right.
Or whatever. And, and then, you bring me your piece of paper that marks where they're at, and then we'll pick the winner because the kids want the prize. The kids will put mom's number down.
Right. Yeah. They know her number. They'll share it. Yeah, absolutely.
Have any of you guys done a QR code yet?
Not for an open house, but I did one for my last listing.
What is so one, what was the easiest way to do the QR code? I think there's like Monkey QR or something like that, and then I think you can do it in Canva too. And then 2, what are you using for that when they when they scan it? What are they going into? Like your HomeSnap app, your what type of?
So the photography company I used gave me, also made a custom website for me. So my QR code I used led to that website where they could request more information, look at pictures that, more pictures than I had on MLS. And it was also access for like the virtual walkthrough, the, everything else there. And then I also stuck the QR code as like the last picture on my MLS thing. So, if an agent saw that and sent it out, then the person, they sent it to could just, click, there's my QR code. And
Yeah.
and it was just a free one that, it's going to last a week. Well, in, last year's market, if I can't sell a house in a week, I'm doing something wrong.
Right. Okay. And then have any of the rest of you done a QR code, and what was your take on it? What was the easiest way, and what did you have it linked to?
I had mine linked to, what was it? I think it was a landing page, and it was from I'd create a landing page in Facebook to do the ads, like when I did an ad, and then it would be, they, do that. And then it was to gather more information, and it went to that landing page for that listing.
Okay.
And I feel like I've done it for something else. I can't remember though, but.
We were kind of talking about it, Jessica, with like the business card instead of saying like, hey, I've got a virtual one. And like, I don't know if anybody has Samsung, but if you put yourself as a contact and you click on it, it's got the QR code at the bottom. So if they scan that, your contact will just hit their phone. And that's just like on the phones. You don't have to do anything. I'm sure
Oh.
iPhone does it as well. So,
I'm gonna totally look right now.
but yeah,
Oh,
that
hey, how about
was
that?
something Jane Corn was telling me about.
Really? What? I want to find that. Okay, Cassandra, do you have an iPhone?
Me too.
I do, yeah.
I have
Okay.
an iPhone too.
Okay, Cassandra, it's your job. The other thing I thought was cool was when she talked about doing so go into the house when it's all looking nice, right? Go do a video of it. Like start out with you, say this is the house, do a video of the entire house. And one thing I'll tell you, like to remember, is like when you're moving your phone, go like this fast. Like you think it's super slow, but when you go fast, people will get sick, right? And they're like, I can't watch this. So go super slow. But the thing is that if you do that, then she said, you can share it with people when they go in the house. And if it's like, oh, I didn't remember what it looked like. But guess what? You can do it for like other people in this office or other agents from other offices. If it's like, this is my listing, it's going to be going live whenever, or, and I know that you were interested in this area. I was like, you could totally market that and just shoot it out to, like a bunch of agents or even people, right? Because it's you walking around the house. So just don't make it too long, because you know how people are.
I picked up a $50 vlogging kit because I don't have a steady hand for stuff like that, and nobody likes watching shaky cam.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is designed to help hold your phone steady. It's got a little ring light in it so that it helps, give good lighting for everything. $50 at Best Buy.
Wow. What did you call it?
I don't remember what they called it. It's a vlogging starter kit or something like that.
Got it. Okay. Got it. Okay.
And I'm not seeing on iPhone the QR code at the bottom. Like I already had myself in there as a contact, and then I scrolled all the way to the bottom, and you can do different things, send message, share a contact, add favorites, things like that. But a QR code nothing pops up with that for iPhone that I'm seeing.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not finding it either.
I wonder if the tech
Cassandra.
guy knows.
He does not.
He knows. He's a phone guy. I mean, he worked with
Right?
Verizon for 30 years.
Did not work for Verizon
20,
for 30 years.
10, 13. I mean, 13, same
and
deal.
before that, Circuit City and Office Max and phones.
Infos. Okay, so Taylor, show him the thing that you just told us.
Okay, so go into your contacts. You should be in your contacts.
Yeah.
And then down at the bottom is it just says QR code, and all your info can be, I know iPhones and Samsung do not like each other for this.
Correct.
So I don't know like how great of a thing it is, just because if you're trying to make a quick exchange with somebody and you're having a technology issue, it's going to just be annoying for both parties. So I would just get a QR code that that works for everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
But do Apples do that? iPhones have a QR code? Where?
Well, no, not info.
Oh, see, that's what we were trying to figure out. See, nope, they don't. That was easy. That's all we got to do.
You can get a QR code that has the information, but it does not. It's not populated, and part of the reason is because of that.
Okay, got it. We were just talking about the Melissa's open house class and our ahas from it. So so let me grab my stuff here. You guys go ahead.
Oops, sorry. I wish that there was like something like already made, right? Where like somebody already made a type of like platform, for a QR code. Like, here, just scan this, set yours up so you know exactly what it looks like, what it says, the information that you're asking somebody for, and then we can set our own up. And then it's like, set just for us, our own code. And then we send that to people, you know what I mean? Like, instead of some people going to like a Facebook landing page like you did, and then with Tom, doing his through the photography and things like that. Like, I wish there was one platform for it. So if anybody finds that, let me know.
Or like a QR code, like too. So what's the end goal of having the QR code? What do you want it to do?
The end goal is to basically put it on everything, whether it's my flyers or invites or, having somebody that I meet, when I'm out and about, something simple, quick, fast, and easy that they can scan, whether it's on a piece of paper in an open house or whatever it might be in any scenario.
And it
it
gives
would
them
be-
your contact info, right?
Yeah, it would be versatile where like, here's all my info right on here. And then here's what you fill out. And that way I can get their standard info right away, instead of like grabbing a piece of paper or giving them my card that maybe they lose
Right,
or,
right.
it's in their phone, it's ready to go.
As far as like getting your contact info, I got a like a forever business card from a company called Vice, but the I is a number 1. And it's got a QR code, and it's just you just tap it on people's phone and all your contact information goes in there, but you don't get theirs in return. But so, and there's I know there's some additional capabilities with the program that I haven't explored yet, but it was like probably $25 or something, maybe 40, nothing, very high. But.
There are a number of apps that will generate a QR code for you that can include whatever information you want included.
So it's just determining which one you want to use.
Which one you want to use and what you want to put in that QR code.
Yeah,
Maybe your website and some text.
right. Yeah. Well, Cassandra, that could be your homework. You could do that. Come say hello. Come say hello.
Are we eating donuts?
Oh,
You gotta
Come
bend
around,
more.
come around. You have to, if you walked in here, you have to say hello. You can't just like duck out.
Oh.
Hello. We're talking about the open house class.
You're having one?
No, yes,
house
we're doing an
class.
open house right now.
Sweet.
Can't you tell?
Yeah.
Oh my
Was it
God.
good?
Yeah, it's super good.
Was it?
Yeah.
Good.
We're at actually Taylor's house right now. All of
Taylor
us. Taylor. the corner.
Taylor Allen.
Sweet.
We're at his house.
Oh, okay.
We're actually in
Yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
house right now, having an open house. They just didn't know it, but
Thomas
See,
is not even paying attention.
This is the other,
it's not his class.
this is the other double J. The
This is double J.
This is
double-
Triple J.
triple J.
Triple J.
Okay. You're gonna join us?
I'll show you. You tell me to leave.
No.
No, I'm telling you to get out.
So did you guys get to do module 7? Say what? No, no, come here.
Yep. You
When
popped
you
in,
do
now
that,
pop
you have
in.
to come up, stand over here and do what? Oh, are we on a, we're on a thing? We're on group coaching.
Hi, group coaching.
She likes to jump in and scare me all the time.
Hi,
So
everybody.
that's what she just did.
Hi.
All right, good. Well, you probably don't want me to coach you because probably yell at you.
Yep,
Just kidding.
you're scary. Shut the door.
Just kidding. I just like to scare people.
Oh my God, shut the door. Okay,
That'll learn ya.
that'll learn you. So, okay, so what were your ahas from watching it? I had a couple.
I like that she said that the little thing about like have a couple of cute like picture frames with something in it, like around the house that would like entice the person to ask you a question about that. Or they could scan the QR code that's on it, and then you've got their info before you even bothered them.
Right? And those, you know, they're basically like about this size or so, like a index card. I saw Tasha printing them out the other day. She just does it on a cardstock and then she cuts them and she probably handwrites it, but, and then tapes the little messages up all over the place. And it's good because it answers questions that people are gonna ask, right? Like if it's dual heat, what does that mean? Well, there's propane and there's a fireplace, right? There's dual heat, right?
Open houses aren't just for buyers. When you do that kind of thing, you're selling what you market to the person you're selling the house for. And later on, when they say nice things about you, like they really went out of their way to sell my house, those are the things that they're going to remember you did. It may not make an impact on a single human being, but the seller will say, they took a lot more time to set this thing up and show my house off and highlight the things I think are important or that I love about my house.
Yeah.
And so later on, that helps you get better reviews and more referrals, which is where the business really is.
Right. And when she was talking about it today, I thought it was interesting how, people always say, well, only, 2% of homes sell from open houses, right? Like they don't really sell. And I was like, well, I could give you an example of a couple of people who have done open houses consistently every weekend or every, at least 3 weekends a month. And they're selling that house, right? Or they're getting business from it, right? Maybe they put an offer in on that house, they didn't get it, but then they're putting it in on something else. So I think it all has to do with looking at the fact of how many agents actually do open houses for their listings, right? And we know that a lot of agents don't. And that's why we give them to PC, right? Because that's a great lead gen source for you guys. But I just thought it was interesting because I'm like, there's a lot of agents who don't, they're like, I'm not doing that.
I didn't do it.
I'm not doing open houses.
I didn't do it.
Yeah. So it's all in the way that you look at the information, right? Because they're like, only 2%. I'm like, well.
I didn't do it because we listed it on Thursday and sold on Friday. And she said, I don't want that many people running through my house.
Right.
Cool. I'm out.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys want to talk anything else about open houses? You want
Who's
to
the
move
guy
on?
sitting behind you?
That's my brother, Thomas.
Hi, Thomas.
How's it going?
He's auditing the class.
Before we do move on from it, I was wondering, I know that all the open houses I've got to this point have been procured through you or Irene. Is there another way you could recommend to us to like get them?
Well, I sent out an email to all the agents who have listings and asked them if they can go through me, right? And the other thing I did was I started a new accountability group with 7 other agents in the office. And I kind of mentioned it on that on Tuesday. And one of them, I said to her, she was telling me all this stuff. And I said, so did you have an open house? And she's like, no, I mean, it was in Oakdale. So, like, I didn't really want to go there, because I live in New Prague. And like, she just was like giving all these objections, right? And I said, well, I want to challenge you and just say that, we could have had a PC agent hold the open house. If they had 30 showings on Friday, I mean, like, that's going to ease up a lot of the showings. And so she just was like, oh, I never thought of that. So that's our goal to Irene and I is to get that information out to agents. And the other thing that you can do that I've like Ryan Ring does is he'll go on the MLS and look at the coming soons and the actives for our office. So you just type in office number 3753 and it'll pull up only our office. And then you just reach out to those agents. And what happened with him is he ended up reaching out to a couple, built a relationship. And then now they say to him, hey, do you want to do an open house? I have a listing that's going live in 2 weeks or a week, right?
That's
It's
what
just-
I did as well too. In the beginning, when I asked that same question, you had said, put yourself on your search and just name it open house opportunities. So I've had that the whole time where, I'm not saying I've done a lot of open houses, but I get that every time that in our market center, when somebody has a coming soon or something, it pops up. I'm on the email list, I see it. And then I, just scrolling to the bottom, seeing whose it is. And if I want, reach out. And that's, how I got the, closer relationships as well with like Shane Korn and Chad Lazacic and things like that, is just reaching out directly to them and kind of cutting out that middleman of having that person having to do my work for me.
Yeah, I'm a middleman. It's Irene.
Sorry. No, you're not you know what I mean.
Yes, she is. It's okay. He's a middleman. The other thing you can do is you can stay on Facebook every moment of the day, and occasionally someone will post something, and if you respond in 12 seconds or less, you win.
You will get it, right?
But I don't recommend that, but you could do it.
Well, and that's what we wanted to get away from, because Michelle Markison had 2 open houses, and she did that on Facebook, and she spent 3 hours filling them with PC agents, right? And I was like, wait a minute, just tell me what you have and I can figure this out, right? So then that's why then I did it, and then Irene does it, because it's so much more helpful. And HHG just directly gives us every week, give us, I think on Wednesday, a list of all that they have. And sometimes at one point when we did 2, Saturday and Sunday, one week we had 14 to fill, right? Which is incredible. And we filled it all, right? So it was, I know that you guys are going to be successful when we can fill all those open houses, right? Because you're out there doing the work. So
Now, that Michelle Markison post, was that the time that the 2 agents got in a knife fight over the?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah. It was
We'd
like
like to
West Side
avoid
Story,
that.
right?
yes,
Yeah.
the Sharks and the Jets, Team Shark, Team
goes-
Jets.
He goes, what? All I heard was knives.
Knives, I tell you,
Yeah.
knives, you gotta stay away from that. So don't, yeah,
Dangerous.
I like that idea about the MLS. That's fantastic.
Yes.
That's super solid.
Right. I mean, it just comes to you, right? Especially if you do a search, like Connor said, you're golden then. And like she said, you can just have it always there. And when you're like, yeah, I want to do one, well, there it pops up, right? Just know that if it's HHG, you cannot reach out to them, because they will tell you to reach out to Jessica, because it was a nightmare for them for a while. And they were like, we can't do this. It's too much stuff. So anyway, any other questions on open houses? No? No, okay. So module 7 is about gratitude. Module 7. No, Irene mistakenly said it was module 6, but I knew you guys knew what she meant. So basically it's coming up with a gratitude conversation. And what did you guys come up with when you watched it? And there we go. Okay. What did you think? I mean, it's basically, we're talking about scripts here, right? Like knowing what you're saying. And the biggest thing was, the thing she said is like, Molly said, write this down, right? And she said, you're a professional. You're not going to wing it, right? So you're not going to go in and not have any clue what you're saying and be like, let's get you buying a house here, right? And you have no clue where you're going. So the gratitude conversation, it just says, give us a chance to express our appreciation to others. Brings value to all parties. When we focus on gratitude and appreciation, we expand those in our lives. So, I mean, it kind of stems from this book, which I'm going to tell you guys all to read this, The Energy Bus.
Jerome Bettis.
Does it come up that you can read it, or is it backwards?
Can
Is
read
it
it.
right? You can read it? Okay, it's just us. It's like a mirror.
Yeah,
Isn't that weird?
no,
No?
it's not weird. It's wrong.
Okay, whatever. I'm super confused. It's like the ambulance. When you look back and it says ambulance backwards, but you're supposed to look in the rearview mirror. Right? That's what we're dealing with right now. Anyway, so this book is a super quick read, and it's all about positivity, right? So they talk about 10 rules to fill your life, work, team with positive energy.
Gratitude conversation.
Tell me about a time when you have felt like super not positive, and how does it change the way your outlook is on the day, or
Well,
the situation?
I can tell you, I worked, 18 years? I don't know, 15 years for Verizon Wireless, and a great conversation. We got a new general manager in the store, and he came in and he said, I've only been here a couple of weeks, but I kind of noticed that the goals of this location are to close the store.
Wow.
Not to sell anything in particular, just to close today. It's like everybody walks in here and thinks how can I make it to close? And it had been a while. We've been short staffed for a while. COVID was terrible, but literally he was right. I mean, we'd walk in the door because we didn't like what we were doing anymore. We weren't having any fun, and it impacted everything. All we really cared about, oh, here's a new initiative. That's all right. What time do we close again? 7? Excellent. We'll just make it to 7. And it does. It starts to color everything. It colors your personal relationships. It colors your professional relationships. The worst time to look for a job is when you hate your job, because employers can smell that on you. You know, it's like if you're desperate and looking for a date, people are like, stay away from that guy. He's desperate. It's terrible. Good things come to you when you're in that place because people want to be a part of that, whatever it is. And it's challenging because, if you find yourself in that rut, it's hard to get out of. There's no question about it. And that's why mindset is so important for this job, because some of the challenges are actual challenges. And when you are not coming from a place of gratitude, that's one of the easiest ways to short circuit a process is gratitude. And thinking about, how lucky I was to have a job that paid me a phenomenal amount of money, that kept my food on my family's table and allowed my wife to try this grand experiment in real estate that has really paid off for my family.
Right.
But it was hard sometimes to keep my mind around that gratitude piece, even then,
Right. Yeah. And really what this module is all about is having that gratitude conversation with somebody else. Right. And we did it in bold. It would be, okay, I want you to pick up your phone and I want you to, bold is a class that we have at QW. I want you to pick up your phone and I want you to call somebody and I want you to tell them that you are grateful for them. Right. And people are like, oh, okay. Like, is that it? Yep. That's all you're doing. And so they would reach out and the people on the other line are like, sometimes they're shocked, like a spouse, they're like, are you okay?
They're very confused.
Did
I will
something
promise you
happen?
that.
Right. And you're like, God, I'm just trying to tell you how grateful I am. And they're like, well, you never do this. So I feel like there's something wrong. Like, oh my God. So it kind of is a wake up call that maybe we need to change what we do, because if people don't feel appreciated, right, then and they're shocked that you are grateful for them, sometimes it's eye-opening, to say the least. I called my husband and my mom and they were both like, are you okay?
Yeah. Are you closing accounts? Am I going to read about you in the paper tomorrow? I mean, seriously, if you're not doing that kind of thing on a regular basis, that's what it kind of comes off as.
Right. Right.
But that's okay because, that's how you start. I know that when I was in a tough place, that was something that I actually started doing. Was every Saturday morning, the first thing I do on Saturday morning is write 2 thank you cards to somebody who I interacted with during the week for something that they did. And it, over time, makes a huge impact in how I see those around me. Because the thing I start doing is on Tuesday, I go, I'm going to remember this for my Saturday card.
Mm-hmm.
Or on Thursday, like, I don't have any cards yet. I start looking for things to be happy about. And that really sets a different and a completely different set of how I can have a gratitude mindset about things when I'm literally looking for things that I will have to do later. The tough part, of course, is starting the process. But once you get started and rolling on it, it's amazing how it makes itself work and really brings up your attitude about a lot of different things.
Right. So what did you guys think about the gratitude conversation example that the handout that we had? Do you have it in front of you? Okay, so tell me how it makes you feel. Like if you were to say that exact same script when you first look at it. Are you okay with it?
Sounds robotic.
Those are not my words.
Right, okay, so,
Those are really not my words.
so I'm gonna read it, and I'm gonna try and be as much as I can be like me, right? So, all right, Molly, you're my person, right? And I'm on the phone, so I'm not looking at you, okay?
Mhm.
Hi, Molly, this is Jessica, and I'm calling today to tell you how much I appreciate you for, oh crap, I didn't think of something, for sharing that recipe with me last week.
Oh, no problem. I'd love to share my favorite recipes.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. Yeah, so we were talking about gratitude today, and I thought of you. I knew this was a good time to thank you and ask if there's anything that I can do for you.
Yeah, I was wondering, are you in a 12-step program or?
I'm looking for a sponsor.
What do you want?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Is there anything I can do for you though?
Uh, no, just take me off your list.
Oh, right. Right. Well, please don't hesitate to ask me for help or advice or information. Right? Like, so real life happens and then your script is like, oh my God, I can't go this direction, right? And then now, right? This is where I go, now we're going in for the kill, right? I've asked you how you are. I thanked you for your recipe. I would also like to tell you that my new business will be built on referrals from people who may be in need of my services to buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate in the future. Do you know of someone who might want to meet me? And would you give me their name?
No, not right now, but I'd be certainly be happy to mention your name if it comes up.
If a
Come
crazy person asks me,
Yes.
Thanks for taking a moment to think about helping me build my career. I
You
appreciate
are
it.
welcome.
Right? Like, I mean, it
Cringe.
makes my skin crawl.
it's cringe.
It's cringy.
It's cringe.
It's cringy. That's what we
Like
say now.
clingy and cringe.
Cringy.
Cringy.
I get told by my daughter that I'm cringy. So apparently.
That
But-
is,
So then it says in the following activity, you'll be calling the Johnson family who you sold a home to 3 months ago. Okay, that makes sense, right? If I'm calling them, hey, do you guys need anything? I don't know if I'd go into this. I'd like to tell you about my new business. Like they already know, right? But so it says below, create a conversation, your own conversation, share your gratitude, express how you are available to assist others wanting to buy or sell a home. Right. So my first thought is when I read this is you're calling to thank me, and then you're switching it and you're asking for business. And that's what we all hate is like salesy kind of stuff, right? So how can we change this so that it's a gratitude and it also feels natural and it's not salesy? Do you guys have any ideas on what you could do? Or do you?
do you have your mouse there? I'm looking at the chat.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Oh, it was Cassandra, I think.
Okay,
She said she had to go.
fair enough.
You can just kind of make it more
I-
conversational. Just kind of stick with the gratitude, and you kind of at the end of it, you could just toss in like, I'm around if there's anything I can do for you. Just give me a call. I'm happy to help.
Right.
It's kind of more of a soft drop instead of the robotic ask.
Right. Because
Yeah,
if they're your
and I was-
clients, they know you do real estate, right?
Right.
Johnson's no, right?
I would also kind of say, I enjoy, like working with you or whatever. And I get so excited, so if you could drop a line, like if you know of anybody else who
Right.
is interested, I get so excited about it. I would just love to help them.
Yep.
Kind
Yep.
of like that.
I like that.
Yeah, in my thank you cards, like when I've closed them, like actually this is at the closing table, I will say I loved working with you and you guys are the best clients. And I know that people that you hang around with are awesome too. So I'd love to help them as well, or whatever. I want to be your realtor for life and help everybody you know. Like just those are things I would say. So I wouldn't want to, that's why it's so important to have these scripts become your own, not using this, because really what'll happen is people will go like, yeah, they'll just be like, yeah, so what's your deal? Like, what are you doing? Why are you reading this? this isn't you. They'll know immediately. And so that doesn't mean you don't do it, right? It means you have to make it your own and have it make sense for what your goals are, right?
And understand the tool, which is gratitude, and what I'm looking for, the result. The result of my phone call conversation is to ask for a referral. The vehicle I'm going to use to get there is gratitude. And tying those two things together in your own words is how you make that happen. That's the route between those two things. So I might just say something like, Jess, it was really great working with you yesterday. I thought we had a fantastic meeting and I really appreciated, how much work you put into this even before the class begins. And that's awesome. And I really appreciate working with you in that capacity. And if, if I can return the favor at any time, I'm always happy to do that. And that includes, if somebody's looking for a house, I'd be happy to help them too,
Right. That's totally natural. Like, I just feel, do you know someone who might want to meet me, and would you give me their name? Like, I'm like, what?
Would you give me their name? If I said, do you know somebody? Just send them my way. I don't know. Don't give me their name.
Right.
On the other hand, the real challenge that you have as an agent is you want control of that interaction, right? I mean, if they say I'll send somebody to you, that's fine, but then you don't really have the ability to follow up with that person. Maybe that person gets around to it. Maybe they don't. Maybe when they're thinking about getting around to it, they reach for the phone and then they see that thing that Tasha Wells printed out last month and they call Tasha instead because her thing is sitting on their refrigerator every day. And so you want to be the one driving that conversation if you can. So that is why the goal is to ask for their information. And one of those things that you can say like that along that thing is, hey, do you think they'd mind if I called them and just gave them my information so that if they ever had any questions, they'd have it, right? Do you mind? And most people would say, no, I don't think they'd mind.
Mm-hmm. Another one is sorry, I'm choking.
I don't know how choking helps them. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about your clients. See, you may not have made her cry. That's how we do. That's how we do. That's how we roll.
Oh my God.
Now she's really dying. But there are a number of different ways in that capacity to continue to make the script your own. What's important is understanding what it is you're trying to accomplish with the script, and using that gratitude vehicle to be expressive. Because what for me, a big part of my why, as I've mentioned before, for my personal why, is helping people do things that they didn't know they could do. That's really important to me, right? So if I can help somebody in that capacity and then share that gratitude with them, they can feel that through a phone conversation. They can feel an emotional connection, which is what I'm trying to establish. Once the emotional connection is established, then it's a lot easier for people to feel good about giving you things. And that's really what it's about, is just, and I mean, that's just being a person, I think, at the end of the day. Meanwhile, I got Choke City over here going on. It's terrible. It's like she's literally laying on the floor.
Choke City.
She is laying on the floor. Oh, there she is.
Oh my God.
Not laying anymore.
Sorry. Thanks.
But you were talking about your example, and it really must have got you, because
What was my example?
your example of how you might transition to asking for a name so that you could call them directly instead of.
Oh yeah, it was good. And now it's totally gone. Great. As that happens, I coughed it right out. Well, how about this? Let's do some, this is always good, and I know it makes you nervous. Let's do some role playing around this. We can start out easy. Like Jason or I could be the agent, or one of you could be the agent. Right? And then another of you could be the the other person, whatever what is it called? The
client,
client. That's what it is.
the contact in this case.
The contact. Yeah.
In this case, just a contact.
Okay, I'm gonna vote that it's not me. Sorry. Look at people.
You've scared them.
Taylor left.
He's like, I got to get out of here. You're making Amy cough.
Oh my God.
You got Shantia is about to fall out of her chair because she's laughing at you so
Thomas
much.
left. All the things.
It's just that's what happens when you start choking in a training class.
I wish I could remember my example.
There's
because
medicine for this.
I know. It's just like a thing. It's not like I'm sick.
A thing.
Like a thing stuck in your throat, you know?
No.
Okay, I think it's okay. I'm so glad you're here because I'd take off. You guys would be by yourself.
Just put Shantia in charge of the class and take off. That's what you do.
Yeah.
She can handle it. She's got it. Look at her.
Shantia, how's your offer? You're doing good?
Yeah.
Shantia got her first offer accepted on, was it Happy Dance?
Yeah, the 31st.
31st, yeah. And you've been dealing with fun inspection stuff and
Oh man.
Woo!
fun things. Yeah.
Nothing like an inspection to get your blood boiling.
Oh my God. Yeah. The worst part.
There's a nick in the door.
Uh,
I'd like it fixed.
I'm ready. I'm ready to finish. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you want to role play? Does anybody else want to role play? Do you guys want to
Always ready.
offer yourself up?
Always ready.
No? No?
Always ready.
Just watching? Okay. It'll be you and me.
All right, Choki.
Okay.
Hey, Choki.
Hey,
How's it going?
good.
I want to call and thank you for giving me the opportunity to practice a skill I learned in medical school. It's called the Heimlich maneuver. And without your repeated choking, I would not have the opportunity to really practice a skill that I think is super important and may someday save the lives of the people I know and care about
Wow.
and folks like yourself. So
Oh my
thank
God.
you.
You are welcome. Yeah, I've been choking a lot here.
Yeah.
I have
and
problems.
You might. And it certainly appears that that's the case. So, it's really crazy because we were having a conversation the other day at work about gratitude and how important it is. And, as I thought about it, I really did want to just reach out to you and let you know that it was important to me that you gave me the opportunity to practice that. And I'm glad that I got that opportunity. And that leads me to the other reason I was calling. I just wanted to check and see if there's anything else that I could help you out with, because, having an attitude of gratitude is something I really firmly believe in.
Yeah.
And is there anything else that I might be able to help you out with?
You guys joking?
Well, I could maybe get you a glass of water.
Through the phone?
No,
Okay.
I got it delivered.
But,
Grubhub. Come on, man, bring the water.
Grubhub. I'm gonna need a glass of water delivered. Well, gosh, I don't know.
Well, if you don't know some ways that you could help me, I could give you an example of something that might be helpful.
Oh, how I can help you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am looking for people who might be interested in buying or selling real estate.
Oh,
And if you knew of anybody, sending them my way would be a great help to me. And I would love to help out your friends in the same way that I've been able to help you out in the past.
oh, sure. Okay. Yeah, I can think about that.
Cool. I will always be here for you if you should need it. Here's my number.
Thanks.
Good talking to you. Please don't choke again, though, unless you get
Yeah.
experienced medical professional.
Right. For
Handy.
sure. You know what I was gonna do is I was gonna say, hey, so I need some work done on my house.
Oh,
So let's do that. So actually, yeah, you could help me. Do you have like good contacts for like construction people? I need my floor to be redone.
I have excellent contacts that I can reach out to. Why are you looking at getting your floor done?
Well, my daughter's graduating in June, and you know how you have those like parties where people come over, and we want to have the floor done for the
The
party.
open house, gonna have that place cleaned up, and after that,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Right.
What are your plans after her graduation for yourself?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we have to stay in the house for at least 3 more years because the other kid is in 9th grade.
Joey, the 9th grader.
Yeah,
Never,
Joey.
correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the 3rd time for Joey in 9th grade. Sorry.
It's been a long haul for Joey.
Excellent. So yeah, I can absolutely get you some, a couple of contacts about that particular, about getting your floor set up and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Out of curiosity, am I coming to this open house? Because I'm kind of excited. I'd love to
Oh, for sure.
share the excitement
Yeah.
of Elaine graduating, because it's about her time.
Elaine, yes, for sure.
Well, she has that weird dance. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but once you've seen it, you can't forget it.
Oh, yeah, Elaine. Yes, for sure. Yeah, you can totally come.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to it. Let me get you that name and number of somebody who can help you out.
Perfect. That's awesome. Okay, the other thing I thought of is we did this during COVID and it was care calls. And that's exactly what it reminded me of when the way that you were doing it. And there's no reason you can't continue to do care calls, right? You're just reaching out to check in on people, see how they're doing. Because a lot of people are still, like work is different, or, I mean, if you think about people with small children, like under 5, that's tough, right? My husband's cousin had a baby 4 months before COVID, and the kid, like, it's a struggle, right? And they don't have any family living around them, so we hear about it all the time. But it's tough, and school, homeschooling, because they don't have a choice, right? So I would say if you guys start doing care calls as well, and you're just like, hey, I was just calling to check in, see how everything's going, see how you're doing, right? You don't have to have anything else to say, right? And you can do the whole Ford script, right? How's your family doing? How's work, right? And eventually they'll ask you the same thing. And if they don't, it's not a huge deal. And at the end, you can be like, you know what? If you ever know anybody who needs help, with their house, let me know. All right, great. It's great talking to you. Right. And we did those. We kind of just would go through the database, and then would cycle back again. And it'd be maybe some new information, right? Like about interest rates or about whatever. And so it's a care call, but then you're adding a little more value by, hey, did you hear that this program is out there, or this is something new? I mean, you can talk about the incredible shortage of houses
on the
and
market.
right. I mean, and the way that you help people find houses through golden letters, right? Just kind of share with them what you do in your business, and they'll be interested to, like if then they'll say, well, how is the market, right? And you're like, well, here's how it is, right? So I challenge you guys to do, if you don't do the gratitude part, I mean, gratitude and care calls are pretty similar, but just reach out to them. And because how often does somebody else reach out to you and do that? Like, when was the last time somebody called you and just like, hey, how you doing? Does it happen much?
And if it has happened, think about how it made you feel. It's an impactful call when somebody is able to demonstrate care for you. If you ever really want to get good at scripts or practicing stuff like that, I'm not even joking. I would do this with some of my sales team who had to make outbound calls. I would literally call a number at random and just call the person and say, hey, I want you to know that I don't know you, but I want you to have an amazing day today. And I called for no other reason than just to wish you an amazing day. I hope your day is amazing. Good luck. And that's it. That's the call. And you get really used to making strange calls, but then people, it's impactful. I've done it, and I've done that same thing then just through my own contact list, just to say, hey, I just hope you have an amazing day. And if you call
Right.
one of those people a day in your contact list and say that, guess what you are priming the pump for later on when you have that weird gratitude call and it's a really strange script. Sure, but if you call every person on your contact list over the course of time and just say, hey, just call and say have a fantastic day, you're just, it's another touch, and it's the easiest touch ever.
Yeah. So what would you feel like you guys would be the biggest hurdle for not doing this?
Wait, you mean you actually want me to talk to people?
What? I know. Asking for a lot. If I said, set a number of people that you want to call each day to have a total per week, and you set that number, what would be the reason you wouldn't get that done?
I know my reason.
Okay.
It's not a habit. I don't know when I do it. And so I'd have to put it on like a to-do list or something like that. And I don't normally use a to-do list. I mean, I kind of know what I'm doing on Thursdays.
Can you do it in your calendar?
I could time block it in my calendar. I'm a huge believer personally in habit stacking. So if I have a habit, then I try and connect it to another habit. So in this case, if I was going to make this phone call, I would say, I would make this phone call after I finish lunch. This is the first thing I do after I finish lunch, because I'll know I'll be in a reasonably good mood, and I will make this call as soon as I'm done with lunch. And I would just call one person right after lunch. Would be, for me, how I'd have to do it, because I'd have to tie it to something else I knew was going to happen. I wasn't going to forget.
Right. And if you start with one,
Then I can add other habits later.
right,
I can make 5 calls.
Right.
That's what would be the terrible thing.
nothing. And if you started with one, you'd be starting, right?
Yes.
Because if you don't start with one, you're never going to do it, right? I'll do it later.
I will make these calls while I drink my morning coffee. Might be another great time to do it, especially if you're just throwing out a, hey, I just want you to have a fantastic day call, because that is connecting. That really puts you in the right thing, in the right
Yeah.
mindset for the day. My wife will tell you, if you follow her on Facebook, she'll eventually occasionally mentions it, that I make her an iced chai latte every morning. And she doesn't know why I do it. I know why I do it. And I do it because it puts me in a servant mindset every day. The first thing I do in the morning is something for somebody else. And that just reminds me for the rest of the day, it just puts me in the frame of mind that that's the direction I'm headed in. I have to change direction in order for that not to be the case now. That is the way I'm moving. And I really believe in momentum and inertia. If you get the ball rolling in a particular way, it's going to stay rolling until it runs out of energy or stops. And I've found over the time that I've been doing it, and now it's probably going on 5 years, that she's very understanding if, for example, we're out of milk.
She doesn't hit the roof and be like, what?
Here's the crazy thing. I will get up and go out and get milk because I don't want to break the streak.
Nice.
And so, she's like, you didn't have to go out and get milk today. And yeah, I did, because this is a commitment to myself as much as it is to you. And, there's just things like that you can do, that if you start that habit stacking process,
Right.
that's the first thing I do. Then the second thing I do, then the third thing I do. It creates a process that works really solidly.
And what ends up happening is stuff starts coming to you, right? The more that you give and you're giving to others, stuff naturally, that's like the law of inertia, right? Energy, it's just going to come back to you.
Yes.
Attraction, law of attraction. Sorry.
Yes. So like, that's the first thing I do. Then she said, cool, I really appreciate how you do that. Here are the sheets. Kidding.
And here's the laundry. It will be here every morning.
Every morning, right after,
Go wash that.
right afterward. Here's the dried clothes. Never ends. No, that's just part of being a human, but
Right.
but it really does start a mindset and a process. I think most people I know start their day by letting thousands of strangers into their mind by opening up their Facebook. And checking that. And that's the first place they start their day. And I'll be honest with you, I can't control what anybody else posts. And I don't need that kind of negativity in my morning if that's what's there. So I don't ever start in Facebook. It's like the worst place to
Or
start my day.
emails too, because they
Oh,
like
crap. Those are,
people want.
well, I do
need
that
this
because
from you, I need
Olivia is
this from you.
important. But past that, what about you? I don't know, John. What about you? Yours are at 3 o'clock in the morning, so I've gotten them long before I get up.
John emailed him the other day at 3 a.m. Okay, so I don't want to keep you guys over 5, and it's 5. So what I want you to do is I want you to write out what your gratitude conversation is going to be with people. And I want you to call one person a day. So you get the weekends off. So you need to call 5 people by next Thursday. And then I want you, when we meet up, that's the first thing we're going to talk about is how it went. Because nobody wanted to just role play, right? You don't want to do that. That's fine. And I still want to see what it looks like. And then I want you to send it to me before you do your first call.
Barring something crazy, make one of those 5 people your mom. Call your mom. It's the right thing to do. I don't call my mom, but that's a whole different thing.
Do as I say, not as I do. Okay.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying, barring something crazy. You know, if you got a thing like me, then you don't. But I mean, if you have a normal relationship because you're both humans, then call your mom.
Your mother's an alien.
I'm not saying alien, I'm saying not human.
You're killing me.
She's a cat.
My mom's a cat.
My mom's a cat.
She
She goes her own way,
In a
not
shark.
interested in you.
in a shark
She'll show up when it's her turn.
thing on a robot.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. Have a good evening and then send me your stuff for module 7. And then next week will be module 8, commitment versus commitment, which is we're going to be talking about your big why again. Have a good week. Adios.
Ciao.